Today, we will review Google's parent, Alphabet's third quarter earnings result through 15 key points. Unlike the market's worry, Google CEO started out by saying the company's long-term focus and investment in AI are paying off and driving success. And he summarized Google's AI strategy by saying that the company's full-stack approach is a key differentiating point. And this full stack contains three factors. First is AI infrastructure that spans data centers, semiconductors, and global fiber network. And second component is world-class research team. This word world-class can be misused often. However, given that Google-related people received 2 Nobel Prizes this year, the company owns the right to claim that its research team is truly world-class. And third, Google has a broad global reach. For example, its 7 products and platforms already provide Gemini AI service to more than 2 billion people every month. And the CEO claimed that these three factors create a virtuous cycle that no other competitor has. For example, we can look at OpenAI, which is considered one of top AI companies, through these three factors. First of all, it definitely has another world-class research team in terms of AI. However, it lacks an AI infrastructure that spans globally like Google. So OpenAI's solution was partnering with Microsoft. However, it's still relying on an outside company and investor. So we can say that OpenAI's infrastructure lags behind that of Google's. Also, even if this company creates a top-tier AI model, it does not have the broad global reach, where it can easily reach billions of people around the world. And now, let's move on to major segments update. First is search. Google applied AI through its search services in 3 different ways. First is AI overviews, second is circle to search, and the third is lens, where you can simply take picture and do the search. Thanks to the AI overview, people are asking longer and more complex questions to Google, and as a result, they are exploring a wider range of websites. And this leads to users coming to the search more often, and Google now processes more search queries. And this is a good thing because Google can earn more ads revenue through these search queries. Not only that, Google felt more confident with this AI overview, so it now started containing more direct ads into its search result. Regarding the circle to search, it is now available on over 150 million Android devices around the world. And about a third of the people who uses this tool now uses it weekly basis. And again, this repeating usage is a good sign because Google can earn more ads revenue through this. And another good news for this area was that users aged between 18 to 24 tend to stick longer with this new tool. So it's nice to hear the younger generation is sticking with Google's ecosystem. And finally, on Lens is one of the fastest growing query types on search. And every month, Lens is used for almost 20 billion visual searches. And what's more surprising is that about 25% of these searches have commercial intent, which again means that Google can more easily monetize these searches. Moving on to the cloud, the segment generated 35% of very high revenue growth, and what was even more surprising was 17% operating margin. Google Cloud's AI portfolio is attracting new customers with larger deals and is driving 30% deeper product adoption with the existing customers. The CEO provided 5 examples of Google AI working in the cloud, and one that stood out was having lower costs. For example, LG AI Research reduced its inference processing time for its multimodal model by more than 50% and its operating costs by 72% using Google Cloud. Next, on YouTube, for the first time ever, YouTube's combined ad and subscription revenue over the past year has surpassed $50 billion. And because its short form as well as TV viewership are doing pretty well, the revenue is continuing to grow. Regarding the other bets, the management highlighted Waymo. This robotaxi business now drives more than 1 million fully autonomous miles every week and serves over 150,000 paid rides every week. And 3 key updates regarding Waymo was first that it launched network and operations partnership with Uber in Austin and Atlanta. Second, Waymo signed a new multi-year partnership with Hyundai and will be able to bring more autonomous driving to more people and places. And lastly, the 6th generation system continues to lower the cost of Waymo. So the combination of these 3 factors will drive Waymo's fast-growing revenue in the coming quarters. The CFO also talked about Wing, which is a drone delivery company that Alphabet is investing in. This subsidiary recently passed 1-year anniversary of scaling its partnership with Walmart, and now operating in 11 stores and serving 26 different cities and towns. This segment is still tiny, but we might hear more about it in the future. Next, moving on to the financial result. Search and other revenues grew by 12% year over year, and YouTube ads revenue also grew by 12%. In subscription platforms and devices, year-over-year revenues were up 28%, and as we discussed before, the cloud business grew by 35%. So the total Google's revenue grew by 15%. Despite such good result, if we scroll down YouTube these days, you can see that Google search might be in trouble because of AI. But on top of the growth that we just saw, Google also generated decent profit numbers. For example, the Google service segment, which contains the search business, had operating margin of 35.2% a year ago, but this quarter it was 40%, and the company's overall operating margin increased to 32%. And as a result, the company generated $28.5 billion of operating income. And as we can see here, the profit level continues to go up despite Google's aggressive AI investments. Another important spot regarding profit was Google Cloud, because this segment lagged Amazon and Microsoft's operating margins. But Google Cloud operating margin jumped more than 7 times, and the margin, which was less than 3% a year ago, now is up to 17%. Now let's check out what Google did with the $30 billion of operating cash flow that it generated this quarter. About half, $13 billion, went into CapEx, mostly building data centers, and another half of $15 billion went to buybacks, and the rest of $2 billion was paid out as dividends. Although the buybacks are usually a good sign for investors, because the Google stock price is pretty high, some investors might not be satisfied that so much is going into the buybacks. However, thanks to the buybacks, even though Google still pays a lot of share-based compensation to its employees, the overall share count is falling for such a large tech company. Moving on to the Q&A section, a lot of questions were focused on the AI cost, because the market narrative is that even though AI is a great thing, it can be very expensive for the companies. However, CEO stated that since we first began testing AI overviews, Google has lowered machine cost per query significantly. For example, in the past 18 months, Google reduced costs by more than 90% for these queries through hardware, engineering, and technical breakthroughs, while doubling the size of the Gemini model. And at the core of such lowering cost was a 6th generation TPU, the semiconductor that Google designs on its own and is much cheaper than the NVIDIA's newest AI chips. But on top of this, the CEO went even further and claimed that because Gemini is already set up through its various businesses, Google now can deploy the newest models not only faster, but at a cheaper price. So this is kind of against the narrative of the market. Next, we were able to see how AI is replacing humans. For example, about a quarter of new codes that Google deploys these days are generated by AI. And this can be also checked through the financial numbers. The R&D cost increased by 11%, but the headcount of Google actually decreased. And finally, regarding the DOJ lawsuit, the CEO stated that the management plans to engage very vigorously. And as we saw today, even though Google's fundamental is very strong, the news headline of this DOJ lawsuit can create fluctuations in Google's share price. Okay, that's it for the Google update today, and I'll see you guys in the next AI company update. Thanks guys.